Recently, I've seen a bunch of videos on social media of gamers complaining that there is nothing to play. And this is something that I used to believe only a mere couple years ago. And that is because my rotation of the games primarily consisted of Apex Legends, the yearly COD, and Battlefield. And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with any of these games in of itself, nor is there anything wrong with the people who primarily play these games as their main games. However, over the past year, I've really taken upon myself to broaden my horizons and try to break out of these, what I call the normie games, and specifically the normie gamer cycle. So in today's video, I want to talk about what the normie gamer cycle is, why I want you to break out of the cycle, and how to break out of the cycle and discover new games. So when defining the normie gamer cycle and normie gamers in general, it's not just any one game that makes you a normie. It's really about your overall game library and game rotation. For me, this was Apex Legends. I really rarely played anything other than Apex Legends for about 2 years. And at the time, I didn't care about being a normie. I didn't want to be some sort of hardcore gamer or anything like that, playing all sorts of different stuff. I just wanted to have fun and play Apex Legends. However, over time, as Apex Legends started to age and new updates came that we were not really fans of, Apex Legends really became less and less appealing for me and my friends to have a desire to load up every single day. And for me personally, this all came to a head when I loaded up Apex Legends one time and just stared at the title screen, not really wanting to play it at all, but knowing that I really didn't have any other option just because of my ignorance about other games out there. Eventually, this got to a point where I started to kind of express my frustrations with the boredom of just playing Apex Legends every day to one of my best friends, Sean. And I'm so glad that I did, because this was the big glass breaking moment for me. Sean knew that I was a Xbox guy growing up, so I never really had played anything on the PlayStation exclusive library, but he was a PlayStation guy. And so he just started running off names of games to see if I played them or not. And almost every time, my answer was no. And this included very popular games that probably most of my audience right now has played, like Uncharted, The Last of Us, Jak and Daxter. And so the advice and the mission was simple. Try to play something that you never played before, no matter how old it is, and just see if you like it and see if you get a desire to or your love for gaming back. And so to start this quest of expanding my horizons, I played Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, for the first time back in 2024, which is around the time this whole situation was happening. And not only is Jak and Daxter a great game, I thoroughly loved playing something new, something different. A 3D platformer was a big change of pace from the FPS gameplay that we've just been playing for 2 years straight in Apex Legends. The art style being totally different, kind of in the Crash Bandicoot cartoony style. And I was just hooked. I played this for the entire weekend, beat it in one weekend, got the platinum trophy, and Sean was right there with me doing his own playthrough too. So I really look back fondly on that weekend as just a great personal gaming moment with me and my friend. But it was also a great personal moment of discovery and broadening my horizons. And the result of this, the result of me broadening my horizons, is that I'm having more enjoyment with gaming than ever. And that is what I want for each and every one of you who are watching this video. So what is the reason to break out of this so-called normie gaming cycle? Well, frankly, it depends on you. If you're somebody that loves playing 2K, gets a lot of enjoyment out of it, someone who loves playing Madden, loves playing Fortnite, loves playing Apex, then you're not in this problem at all. And I want to encourage you to keep playing the games that you enjoy playing. But if you're someone like me who was only playing Apex Legends because I had no idea what else was out there, and I felt very apathetic about playing it every time and bored, then I encourage you to try to broaden your horizons and see what else is out there, and not to quit and just compromise on playing the same thing every time when you don't enjoy it. I think a lot of times we forget that gaming is entertainment after all. So if we're not entertained, then something's very wrong. And so how can we break out of this cycle if you're one who wants to look at discovering new games? I think there are essentially 3 ways that you can do this. The first way is just to go onto the PlayStation Store and look at any possible game, the top charts or anything like that, to just see what stands out to you. However, this is really not the most cost-effective approach, because you're essentially betting on whether or not you're going to enjoy that game, and you could potentially waste a lot of money spending $50 on one game here, not liking it, then going to another game, spending another $50. The second option is going to GameStop and just kind of looking around to see what's available. They have some good deals there, often on PS4 games, which you can play usually on the PlayStation 5. There's only a select few of PS4 games that are not playable on the PlayStation 5, but that could be a good option. And again, it is kind of pricey just depending on what you're getting and what the deals are, but I do think it's way less than buying games on the PlayStation Store. And the third option is my favorite option, and that's subscribing to PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass. And that's because for each service, you just pay one fee per month and you get access to all sorts of different games. And so you can just download games that look appealing to you, try it out. If you don't like it, delete it, try another one. And it's not going to cost you a ton of money. And so really the breakdown for these services is if you have a PlayStation, the lowest tier is called Essential, and that's at $10.99 a month, but that does not get you the games collection. You need to have the middle tier of Extra or the highest tier at Premium. Premium goes at $19.99 a month, and Extra goes at $16.99 a month. The big benefit to Premium is you can have select trials of games. So most popular amongst my friends was the PlayStation Plus trial of The Last of Us Part 2, and it was a 2-hour trial of just the general game. And so that saved them $50 in the interim while they tried the game out to see if it's something like. Premium also has a classics catalog that has a bunch of PS1 games, PS2 games, and whatever. That's, if you're a retro gamer, that could be a good option for you too. But all the games I'm going to mention down below are also in the Extra tier. All right, so for Xbox Game Pass, there are 3 core tiers, and each of them has a select number of games. Essential is $10 a month. The second tier is called Premium, and it's about $15 a month. And the highest tier is called Ultimate, and it's $22.99 a month. And if you have a PC Game Pass is $13.99 a month. All right, so without further ado, as of June 28th, 2026, when I'm filming this video, these are the 5 games from each service that I recommend you playing to expand your horizon. All right, so first I'm going to go over the PlayStation Plus games, and then after I'll go over the Xbox Game Pass games. First up for PlayStation Plus is Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This was developed by Ubisoft, and heck, it's almost 15 years old now, but it is one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games out there. The ship combat is really fun, and it's just the tropical environment is really appealing to look at as you are playing the game. And so while it's not like the most obscure game or anything like that, and that's not really what this list to be about, but I feel like it could be a good option, especially for the younger viewers who have never played this game before. I really suggest giving it a try, and especially with the Resynced game that's coming out soon, you may love it so much that you will be interested in that too. So Assassin's Creed Black Flag is a good option if you've never played it before. Second on the list is a game I just recently played, Bloodborne. And the reason I put it on this list is not only is it a really highly renowned game, so many people love it. It almost has a cult following. And the reason I put it on this list is because it's one of 2 of the Soulsborne games that are on the PlayStation Plus Pass. The other one being the Demon's Souls remake, which is also a good option, but I think Bloodborne is the better game. But the good thing about Bloodborne being on the PlayStation Pass is it'll allow you to try the really difficult nature of the Soulsborne genre without having to commit a lot of money into something that you really have a high probability of not liking. And that is because these games are pretty divisive. There's an ongoing debate on whether there should be an easy mode or they should maintain the no difficulty setting whatsoever of the game. And so if you're interested in just giving the genre a try, which I highly recommend because I think it's changed my life and my perspective on things, I highly recommend trying Bloodborne. Next up is a totally different game, Celeste. Celeste is a really highly renowned 2D platformer, and it has the old pixel art aesthetic you would see on older consoles or even on some PC games, indie games and whatnot. And I just think I love looking at these kind of pixel games. I think they're so cool. But this could be a good game for you to have in your rotation, just to have a complete change of pace if you're like an FPS gamer primarily like me. And it's a pretty short game, so there's not a large commitment, and I don't think it's really that difficult, but there are some tricky spots on the game, so be aware of that. Next up is probably one of my top 5 games of all time, Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know what CDPR puts in their games, but they're like crack to me. I loved this game. This game is an FPS open world shooter with stealth mechanics, a great story, and some RPG mechanics in there too. This game had a really rough launch, to be fair, and I think that has tarnished the name of the game for a long time, but in its state that it's in right now, it made a full comeback, and I think it being on the PlayStation Plus Pass is a great value. All right, and so my final game on this PlayStation Plus list is Returnal. And again, in keeping with my idea of trying to get all sorts of different genres out there, this is a third-person roguelike shooter. And this game primarily functions in runs. So the general idea is you get stronger after each run. Each time you die, you'll come back stronger, and you'll get certain power-ups and abilities to navigate the level and finally defeat the boss at the end. The cool thing about this game is that Housemarque, the developers, are really trying to craft their own genre through the gameplay of Returnal and then their newest game, Saros. The developers have come out and said that they've been inspired by From Software and the Souls games and how everyone kind of marks the Souls games in their own genre. They want to do the same thing with Returnal and Saros and maybe even future games. All right, so next up is my Xbox Game Pass recommendations. The first one up is probably one of the most underrated games, I think, in any of these lists or any game that I've talked about so far on my channel, Remnant 2. Everyone says that this is like a third-person Souls-like game. And yeah, there's elements of that. You know, you have bosses that you fight, you have campsites, and if you die, you have to do the level all over again, basically. But it's really just not as brutal and difficult as Souls games are. So I think calling it a Souls game could scare people off from what is generally just a really fun third-person shooter. And I recommend really playing Remnant 2 with friends. Next up on this list is Wolfenstein and New Order. Wolfenstein has been around for a good while, but this is one of the more modern Wolfenstein games. And if you played some of the newer Doom games, you could basically expect the same kind of gameplay from the Wolfenstein games. It's just a plain badass boomer shooter game. If you like shooting Nazis and you like blowing stuff up, then you're going to like Wolfenstein. Next up on the list is totally different genre, the MMO genre, and that is Albion Online. And I put this here because it recently came out on Xbox consoles, just in time for their new factions update. The cool thing about Albion Online is it is a MMO that each player's actions has an effect on the in-game economy. And the world is constantly changing. There's faction warfare, there's guild warfare, there's alliance warfare. And the cool thing about Albion is you can play it in any way you want to. You can be a gatherer and just go around mining ore, or you can be someone who crafts armor for people, or you can go and just do dungeons and PvP. There's something there for everyone. And I think it's a super underrated game, and it's really, really fun. But I think you get the most fun out of this game when you get involved with a guild and you get involved with playing with other people. But nonetheless, if you've never tried out an MMO before, I recommend trying out Albion just to see if you like it. Next up on the list is Balatro. The cool thing about Balatro is it mixes poker with things like deck building and roguelikes and really just delivers a great, fun, relaxing product. And the cool thing about Balatro is this could be an entryway to the roguelike genre. It's not completely the same as other roguelikes out there. You know, it's really its own thing. I think you can get the general systems and the general idea of the game down and apply it to other games as well. Balatro to me is like the game you play 1 hour before bed when you want to wind down or you're really tired after work and you don't really want to think too much. Yeah, if you want to play the best about this game, you need to put on your thinking cap because there's some numbers and some multipliers there. But if you just want to see numbers go up on a screen and you want to make poker hands, this is a really fun game no matter how you play it. Okay, so the final game that I'm going to put on the Xbox Game Pass list is kind of a Normie game, especially if you're older like me and have played all these games before. But for the younger audience, I think this could be a really good game to try and download onto your Xbox if you've never played any of these games before. And that's because this is a 6-in-1 game, Halo the Master Chief Collection. This includes Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo Reach, and Halo 3 ODST. All of which, besides Halo 4, are cinema. All of which are really good to play if you've never played them before. And I just think the general value of having 6 games in one is a great option for you, just out of the pure content and hours of play that you can get from it. So to conclude, I just want to encourage you guys that I'm not saying that normie gamers are bad or they're not important. Nor do I want this video to come off as judgmental in any way. If you like playing the games that I used to play all the time, like Madden, Apex Legends, Battlefield COD, that is completely fine, and I encourage you to keep playing them. But I hope this can resonate with somebody who is kind of apathetic to loading up Apex Legends every day like me, or a similar game. And this can help you discover some new genres that you may be interested in and recaptivate some of that passion back for gaming. And with that, I would love to hear your comments down below. Do you disagree with the term normie gamer? If you have any game recommendations and stuff that maybe is on the PlayStation Plus Pass or on the Xbox Game Pass, it doesn't matter. Drop them down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I'll see you guys in the next one.